Okay, we've got the tail pretty much, tail feather, or the wing feathers around the tail pretty much raised up, as you can see. Show definition between the top primary and the bottom primary. What we're going to do now is we're going to put in the tail, start defining the tail and the upper and lower tail coverts. But right now the tail has got a lot of thickness to it, so we have to take all of that down so we can get that down to where it's going to go. The tail coverts are still defined by this slight rise we've got right here. This bottom primary will probably undercut a little bit too as we slope the coverts down, the upper coverts. So what we're going to do now is we're going to define the thickness of the tail, and usually the tail is about a little over 1/8 of an inch thick. So just from the top of the tail, draw a line 1/8 of an inch down, and I just extend the line just straight on into the bird. It's not going to go that far, but just to give myself a point of reference. And I take that all the way around the bird on the tail. And just take it down the other side. Just take it into the bird like so. And this is basically going to be the top part of the tail, and this is going to be the bottom part of the tail here. So this is going to have to come out. But what we want to also establish is, now that I know that this is the upper tail coverts, I need to know where the bottom tail coverts are. And on the undertail part of the pattern, you can measure that from the tip of the tail to where they are. And since this one doesn't have the line on the pattern, all you'd have to do is just draw a straight line on the end of the tail and give you a end of the tail reference, which I just did like that. And then you can just measure that distance from the end of the tail to the lower tail coverts, just like so. Make a mark, and that's where they are, right there. Now the upper tail coverts and the lower tail coverts, they're pretty much look the same. They have a slight point to them that you see right here. So it's kind of hard to draw it on here with these upper ones, but this is the center of your coverts. So you can just come off of here like so. You see where I extended that line out? It was like that, just to see where that would go. And I can pull another one around. It's going to come under the tail, something similar to that right there. And I'll look down at the top of it to make sure that I've got them both drawn pretty much symmetrical. And then I can come over here and find out where these are located. And they're pretty much going to follow the same pattern. You see that the two coverts meet each other along the side of each side of the bird. What we're going to end up with is we're going to have a large step down on these lower tail coverts. There'll be a large step down from there, so we're going to be cutting down to right about here on the tail. Now the tail does have a slight curvature to it, just very slight. You could do it like to draw a slight curve off of the top part, which we'll put in here just in a little bit. Just got a very slight curve to it. And then the bottom part we scooped out slightly as we cut those down. So what we're going to do now is start defining these coverts and the top of the tail. Actually, let me back up here just a minute. These coverts are coming down to the top. This is actually back up. This is actually the top of the tail right here. Stop that. Stop that. Let me ask you something. So what we've done is we've defined the top of the tail right here. And that's where the covert's going to come down to it. And then we come down 1/8 of an inch and we define the thickness of the tail all the way around the back side and on the other side. And then you'll have a slight curve in the tail. Which we'll take out when we do the top part. Now we're going to take all this down and these down to meet each other. So I'm going to switch the bit from this rounded diamond back to this sapient diamond. And we'll go ahead and start cutting these out. I'll start with the top covert first. And it's a straight down cut. It's not at an angle or anything else. It's just start at the edge and very lightly start cutting it out. And you take it right down to the top of the tail. I want to get down far enough so I can get underneath that primary sticking up. I don't want to hit it and knock it off. Now I'm going to have to be real careful where I go underneath this other one here, the lower primary. So I'll just go right up against it here at this point. And I'll come around it on the side. And then bring it off to the one corner. Taking it down like I did the other side. Right down to the top of the tail. Now that gives me a sense of where I'm at right here, and I can start cutting down right to the top of the tail. You can use the center line as the basis to cut. Like I'll do one half and then I'll come back and do the other half. So I'll make sure that I'm cutting down to the bottom line, top of the line to the top of the tail. I'll come straight down that center line. Going down in steps to that first line that I've drawn to the top of the tail. Again, right now this is just going to be flat. And we just put a slight curve into it here in a little bit. You'll notice that I'm getting down pretty much to the top of the tail here, to that top part of where that first line is. And so I just keep working it slowly, a little bit at a time, until I get right down to that line. There we go. One side done, like so. You can see. Now I'm going to do the other side. I can go around. Having to go in a different direction, I can take one part of it down just a little bit at a time. Take it down to that line. See, I've taken it down. Right here I angled down just a little too much, but that's not going to be a problem. I took out a little bit of my line, but I still have a lot more thickness to play with. So I'll take this all the way down until it disappears to that line. Then I can turn it around and come back this way, making sure I'm looking at this side of it over here. And just work that down. Now what we've got is we've got these upper coverts established, but what's going to happen now is it's going to slope down from out of here. It's going to slope down like so. You can see this line here. So we've still got to undercut the one on the side for the lower primary and maintain the distance underneath on both sides. So it's roughly, we can turn it around and draw it again. This gives us some sort of form of reference on both sides where that line is right there, so that we can undercut it. So still using this one, I'm going to clean up right along the edge of this side of the coverts right there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to this rounded nose diamond that I was using, this one right here, and use it to try to start the undercut. I want to maintain that distance underneath the lower primary, which is right there. Like you see I'm doing right there. I'm cutting that out. I take it right up to that base of this primary itself. And then I just start undercutting it a little bit, sloping it up as I go. And go around on the other side, and I can come around and do the same thing. Notice I'm staying right up against where the under primary overlaps. Not digging up underneath it, just staying right up along the edge of it. Very carefully working under that. Bringing that down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch from this particular rounded bit to one of these pointed ones that you saw earlier. It looks like this. So I'll change that out so I can get further up under there. and start cleaning out up under there.